Okay, we're now going to talk about exercise 5-14, and this one's going to have to be done a little bit differently than the previous ones that were completed. I'm going to be laying out a lot of construction lines and stuff like that to get this one because it does have some weird angles. But once again, it's going to be started the same way. I'm going to start from the right side view because it's the only view you can start from for this particular assignment. So we'll go over 60, and that is going to lay out the bottom of this piece, and from there I'm going to go up 51. This is going to establish the triangle that I need to complete this particular assignment. And I'm going to leave most of that triangle intact, and I'm going to copy it over so that I have all the information that I need. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it over 40, because 40 is the total, or 50 is the total width of the object. Then I'm going to copy it in 20, or I'm sorry, in 15, and that's going to serve as the location for one of the grooves that comes down. But since I don't need the bottom line on this, I'm going to delete that so I don't get confused. I'm then going to copy the other side in that same 15. And that way I have both sides of that groove that I'm going to be needing to put in here. So there's all of the triangles that I need. I'm going to delete that, and now I can get rid of these so that I can try to keep some of this a little bit straight. Now I'll draw a line from here, and I'm going to come down 22 with this. So down 22, and I'm going to draw in a line along that 30 degrees. I'm going to extend that line out to the edge of that triangle. I can now get rid of this line, and I can get rid of this line because that's the locating point for that triangle. Now I can draw this in over to here along that 30-degree line. So I'll zoom in and get that drawn. This line still needs to be there, but this long section down here at the end can now go away. So we'll trim this up, and then I'm also going to come in here and do my 30-degree line out to here and trim away the stuff that doesn't need to be here for this particular line now. Okay, now I have almost that entire groove in here. I'm going to trim out the bottom part of that, delete this section, and I'm going to fill in some of those edges that I can now see a little bit more clearly than I could before, and get rid of some of the edges that I do not need to see. And what you can see happening here is this thing starting to take some shape. Now I am going to copy this line here up 20, and then I'm going to copy it up 10 more. And this is going to establish the points for the grooves that go on this. Now I can draw my line in at 30 degrees. It goes in 8. And I'm going to copy that. Since all of these go in 8, I'm going to copy it from this point to these other 4 points as well, since this thing rides along all of the major points on this particular piece. Now I can take and trim out this portion, this portion, this portion, this, and that section right there. At the back side of this, where this groove is, let me trim this out too because I don't need it. I need to draw in the line that represents this back edge, and I need to draw in the line that represents this edge right here. Now I can draw in the line from here to represent where that is going to be cut. Since that's the only portion of it I can see, I can go ahead and erase everything else in that section. Now I need to put back in a line here and do the same thing. I'm going to copy that line up 20, and then I'm going to copy that line up 10. Copy this line, since it's still going to be 8, I'm going to copy it into here and here. Now, even though I'm still going to reuse part of that, I'm going to get rid of them just for clarity. Draw in this particular edge here, draw in my 30-degree line representing the back edge of that cut, and then trim out this section of line and trim out this section of line. So now what I have is I have most everything that I need for this particular portion. My next step, and this is why we changed that snap mode from a rectangular snap to an isometric snap, is to draw an ellipse. And that's EL enter, and then I enter for iso circle. And I'm going to put that iso circle right here, and this thing has a radius of 18. Now if it appears that it's going the wrong way, if you hit Control E, it changes your ISO plane, so you can make sure that you locate it on the left ISO plane. This just gives me an idea of exactly where this hole is going to be cut, and it is located from the bottom, so that's where I want it to be located. So I'm going to draw a line straight up to here, and that's going to serve as a construction line for the top of this piece. I will then take and copy this angle over to here. Once I project the top of this back at 30 degrees, it's going to give me the exact point at which this hole is going to actually intersect with this face. Now I can draw a standard 3-point ellipse from this point, and this point. Get rid of all of the construction information contained within here. Trim out the bottom half of that ellipse and draw in the line that represents the back edge of that going all the way back to the back. Center it, dimension it, and this one is also complete.